many things that brought me back to Christ was a lot of internal turmoil that I was going through in a very unhappy relationship that I was in. I was in this relationship for about a year and a half to 2 years. And in this relationship, it was more of it wasn't a give and take, it was more of a take from the other person. It brought me to a point in my life where it had sucked me dry so much that I didn't even know what else to give. I am a mother of 2 kids, and that in itself takes its toll. So I have a 14-year-old and a 6-year-old. I was a very young mother at 17, so all I really knew was to nurture. And so I've been nurturing and taking care of another person for so long, which maybe was one of the reasons why this person that I got with kind of like was attracted to me. Maybe more that nurturing side. So besides me being so nurturing to my children, and that's all I knew how to do, I kind of nurtured him in a way that made him feel comfortable. In the relationship that I was in, he was very depressive. And to me, as soon as I saw that, and I saw that sign of weakness or that he needed help, all I wanted to do was take care of him and, make sure that he was all right and try to help him as much as I can. Again, this is being my motherly instinct to just take care of him. But at the same time, it was sucking the life out of me. I started not even to really care if I was okay. I was more trying to make sure everything around me, my home, my kids, he was okay, his mind was stable, and so there won't be any triggers. It got to a point at one time where it was closer to the end of our relationship. I was kind of having enough of it. One time he kind of knew that it was over, so he went to the bathroom and took some pills. He took pills in a way to kind of scare me, to keep him around, and he took enough pills to a point to get him kind of like to lose his balance, and he was like falling down the stairs, and that was like the last straw. Instead of him manipulating me to keep him around, it kind of was just like I needed him to get out of my life. And he did it there in my home with my 2 kids, and my 2 kids were the priority. Again, I was already getting to that, for that night, I was already at a point that I had enough. So that night, he packed up his things and he left, which to me was kind of like a relief, but I still had the kids there. And again, this is situations after situations of being the main one to carry all this load and carry the load of my children, carry the stressors from work, the stressors from him and his depression and his depressive ways, and trying just to walk on eggshells so I wouldn't trigger something in him emotionally. That night I was at the kitchen table with my 2 girls, and they were bickering back and forth, and it's like I can't get a break, not even a second, not even to eat my food and just relax. I can't get not one break. So all I could think of was I can't take this anymore. So I can't take the load of these 2 girls bickering, my 2 daughters bickering back and forth. I can't take the load of his drama and his weight of his issues that he had. Just one thing I just want to point out there, he wasn't working for a very long time. Again, because I couldn't throw somebody out, like, especially if he wasn't working. That wasn't me. So I had the stressors of being the only person to bring in money into the home, the only person paying the bills. So all of these stressors, and my children bickering, and his situation with taking pills and trying to commit suicide, and them just going back and forth, that I screamed to the top of my lungs, and I'm like, I can't do this. And I screamed at my girls, and I scared myself because I screamed so loud that I felt like my whole body getting so hot. And I just yelled at them. I'm like, I need you guys to stop and just get out of my face and go to your room. And I just started crying and crying and crying. And they ran because they were scared, because they never heard me scream that loud before. And as soon as they ran, all I could think of right there is that if I don't kill myself, I'm gonna end up killing them. And before I kill them, I'm gonna kill myself. So it was crazy. The thoughts were so scary that I was like, God, this is not normal. Is this my breaking point? Is this what happens when someone is doing something for so long on their own, that now I understand why, like, all the thoughts came in my head. This is why people kill their children. This is why people, like, stuff babies in garbage bags and they put them away. Or this is why people just snap, or they take their cars and they just go into a river. Like, all of the thoughts of other people committing suicide or committing murders came into my head, because it's like, is this the tremendous amount of pressure that they feel, where they get to a point that they've had enough? So the thoughts were so scary that I couldn't even take it. As soon as I started thinking that way, I grabbed the knife that I had there on the kitchen table. And again, my kitchen table is like right here. And so I had my knife and I had my kitchen table there, and I put the knife right there, and I'm like, I try to find a soft spot on my chest. And I put it really close to me, and I'm like, this is really soft. All I have to do, and I was really scared because I'm like, I can't do this myself. But then the enemy literally gave me a way to do it. And he's like, just put it against the table and just push. Like, that's all you need to do. Just push into it. It's going to be really easy and very quick. So I went through the steps of doing that and I pressed on it, and I got so shook, and I'm like, I can't do this to my children. And I dropped it and I started crying, but I cried very low because I didn't want my kids to hear me. And so I just ran to the bathroom, and in the bathroom I sobbed so much. I fell to my knees, and I always knew that God was there. I knew that. I grew up in church, but I left the church at a very young age. And at that moment, that's the only person that I knew that could get me out of that. Even though that I was far away from him, even though I ignored him and didn't even give him the time of day or the thought in my mind, I knew that at that moment, that's the only person that I could turn to. So crying in the shower, because it's the only place that my children won't hear the cries, it was so desperate and so, like, it crippled me. Like, I couldn't even get up off of the floor in the shower, and finally get up. And I'm like, this cannot be my life. I couldn't have lived this long and raised these children this long, and for it to be this empty, this pointless, this meaningless. It can't just be stress on top of stress, and this is how I'm supposed to live. And that night I went to bed, and all I could do was cry in my pillows because I couldn't take it anymore. And that's all I could do was just let go and cry it out, and just cry it out. So that night was the first time ever that I ever heard the voice of God audibly. And it was something so loud, not yelling, but like strong enough to wake me up out of my sleep. And he was like, I need you to get up, Paola, and I need you to get up, like, right now. And I'm so tired, and I'm like, no, I'm tired. I can't get up right now. I need to rest. I'm just so exhausted, so tired. And he's like, I need you to get up. I need you to get up right now. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like whimpering because I was still so exhausted and tired of just everything. And when he woke me up, he's like, I need you right now because you still have it in you. Because the whole time when I was crying to sleep, I was telling myself, I can't do this anymore. I don't have any more energy to give. I don't have anything else to give. There's nothing. These thoughts that are going through my mind, these crazy thoughts that are going through my mind. Is I can't do this anymore. But in that moment that he got me up, he's like, I need you to get up and I need you to do something right now. And I need you to pray. And I need you to pray right now for this person. And I was like, okay, you want me to pray for somebody else right now? And in a way, he was getting me outside of myself. And it was so insane because I'm like, I know this is you because I can hear you. And I'm like, I'm looking around in my room, this is you. And you're telling me, I don't want you to focus on you right now. I need you to pray for this person. And when I got up, I felt worth. I felt like I had a reason to get up, a reason to live, a reason to keep going, because my God felt like I was so much stronger that I could take somebody else's load. That what I was feeling wasn't true, that those thoughts in my mind, that wasn't the truth. The truth is that I can handle my stuff and I can handle someone else's, load. So I prayed that night, and then I had like the best sleep ever after that prayer. And then that was like the final straw that broke the camel's back, that brought me back to Christ. And I continued to seek him, and it was very comforting and very soothing to my heart. Again, after that situation, the person that was in my life had left already. It was just me and my kids. And it was all meant to happen that way, because that was the only way I was gonna go as hard as I'm going for God now. It had to take me to that breaking point for me to pursue God with a passion, because he brought me out of a desperation. He brought me out of a place that made me feel like I couldn't get any lower, and he brought me out of that. So how could I not serve my God, and how could I not keep going hard for him when he took me out of that? So I just continued to seek him on my own, and he continued to speak to me throughout that time. And at one point, like I went on Facebook, I saw a friend of mine, getting baptized, and I'm like, okay, if this person's getting baptized, like, we had some wild days. So if this person's getting baptized, this must be a church that I can really fit in, which is Ignite Church in Newark, New Jersey. So I went and I tried it out, and it's a bunch of weird people just like me, and I found a home that I can fit in, and I just kept going. And that one step, that step of being willing in my own home, not even having people around me to tell me to go to church, but that first step of being willing and being tired of your circumstance and tired of what you are going through and how you're living your life. Like, that's not life. Life is not just that. There's so much more to life than your circumstance. And that's something that I was able to find through Christ and through my just hunger for him. So just being willing and being open led me there. And without God in my life right now, I would not be able to function, take care of my kids, and stay positive, because at the end of the day, we are human. So this is something that is a daily battle, but with God on our side, it's something that we can handle, because without him, we just can't handle it. But with him there's absolutely nothing that I feel like I could take on right now that I won't be able to handle, because he's with me every step of the way. I wanted to share my story just in order to help someone. Her Hope Arises is on the move. This is my Be Real, Be You. We'll see you soon.